ARollingWalrus, and I'm continuing my Let's Play of Dig or Die. Now, here's the situation before we get into this. At the end of my last video, I was stuck, I was really frustrated, and I didn't know how to proceed. So, after I was done recording that, I went and I basically played the game for 6 or 7 hours to figure out how it worked. Because one of the downsides of playing an early access game is that there aren't any community guides right now. There's very little direction if you get stuck. So I rage quit about 6 times, I restarted, I floundered around, and I basically have an idea of how to win now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new game on easy, and my goal is to finish this as quickly as possible so that you can see roughly how you're supposed to progress throughout the game. I'm doing it on easy just because I don't want to have to restart in the middle of a recording again. When you die, you lose all your progress for that day, and I don't want you to have to see me do that over and over again. So we're starting anew on easy, and I'm going to try to work my way through the game as quickly and efficiently as possible with the stuff I learned. Because I did learn a few tricks. I still have some difficulty with some of the stuff you have to do. However, it should be okay. I don't foresee any major difficulty. Yeah, so starting off, you kind of want to establish a base relatively near to this guy. He's actually really, unlike in Terraria where his tips aren't that, you know, the AI companion tips aren't that useful, he actually, as you progress, will tell you what you need to do next. So he's not just there to just be like, to state the obvious. He actually will tell you where the location of the next resources are that you need, and things like that. So it's actually really important to stay near him so you can see the changes in what your goals are. Because while there aren't like quests or anything, he is basically your quest giver. So he's saying craft a better gun. This is something else I learned. You always need to upgrade your gun. Like, even though it's a different type of gun, it will be more powerful. And that is essential to surviving as the game progresses. I was having a lot of trouble fighting the enemies, and it's because I had a crappy gun. So that's why my life would have been a lot easier if I had actually... Sorry, I still have a cold, it's not going away. If I had actually crafted the gun like he had suggested. Now, he said you could dig a cavern and use the rocket at your back. That's actually a bad idea. And the reason is, the monsters will take the shortest possible route to get to you. Always. So what I found the most successful is building a fort on the surface so that when the creatures, and you basically need to defend from all sides, like top, bottom, left, right, everything like that. So I even had to, like, the creatures burrowed a tunnel underneath my base, and I had to put guns in there in order to keep them from killing me. And as you can see, I just crafted a shotgun, which is the next tier of weapon. This will be pretty powerful for where I am in the game right now. And that's good. That's good. That's what I need right now. Wooden platforms are also really important, and you want to craft a gun as soon as possible. So set up your little turret to get you through the first night. Just because it's really hard to wipe out all the enemies just with your shotgun. And I did look up on the community channel. The developer suggested how to build a fort where to keep, like, to address the difficulty of water getting into your fort, because that is a thing that happens. Your fort will get flooded, and then there's a chance that fish will spawn in there, which is not ideal, but it's part of the game, so I'll show you that design too. Okay, so to get the next level auto builder, I need light gems, and like I said before in previous videos, the flies that we see are what spawn light gems, so those are pretty important. I also need to upgrade my gun. I need the next auto builder to upgrade my gun, which is important because, not my gun, my harvester, because you need the harvester to collect rocks, and that's, again, it's really important. So I can't really get iron until I do that. So what I'm going to do, something else I figured out that is really helpful is to build a mine shaft. Kind of like in Minecraft, you need a mine shaft in order to get resources. The reason it's important in this game is because you need to be able to get back to your fort really quickly when it gets close to nighttime. Like now, you need your turret guns to survive the night. One of the mistakes I kept making was not paying attention to the time of day it was, and getting stuck in like a cave or something during night, and I would die there because I couldn't defeat all the enemies. Like, you actually need to be somewhere secure in order to survive. Which was annoying, but it was also like, you do need to have some time management. You need to plan out your tasks around how much time you have, so that you don't die, because you do lose your progress. It's not like Minecraft or Terraria where your progress stays the same. You just drop all your items where you died and respawn. You have to reload your last save. So, sorry guys, I don't know what's with this cold. So you do need to keep aware, because it will save at the end of, after you survive the night, it will save the game. And that's where the autosaves are. You can save anytime other than that. However, I always forgot to, so I would always get stuck back where at the end of the last night. And I lost a lot of progress that way. Okay, so as you can see, it's really dark at night. There's a lot of enemies. This is why turrets are really important, because you can't always see the enemies. So the turrets let you know where the enemies are and protect you. My goal right now is to get the next level of auto builder. I need 3 more light crystals for that. In the meantime, I'm gonna build a mine shaft. I'm gonna continue this mine shaft. As you can see, the creatures have already started they will dig through basically anything to reach you. So it's kind of tricky. It's one of the reasons why you need to be able to defend your base from the bottom up. Okay, at this point, I probably am better off just on the surface hunting down these little fireflies, so that I can get the next level of gear. Because you can't really efficiently mine until you do that. Oops. And you always want to have a big stack of wooden platforms with you. Because if you fall in a hole and need to get out, that's basically your only option. You can't place blocks anywhere. I mean, you can, but it's a waste of resources. You can jump through the wooden platforms and things like that, so they're extremely useful and versatile. And I know there's a thing of iron ore right there. I can't actually get it because I don't have the next tier of the harvester. So, kind of stuck right now, waiting until I find more of those fireflies in order to kill them and get the light crystals. I need 3 more. At the same time, I don't want to wander too far away, because as you go further to the west and to the east, the enemies become more difficult. It does take a little while, so like you can go further than I'm going, but I just really don't feel like facing the fish because my gun isn't powerful enough to kill them quickly right now. I'm sorry you guys are having to watch this again. I learned so much in all my failures trying to play through this game again. I just figured this is the best way because I can just kind of talk you guys through what I learned. There's still some things I don't quite understand, but hopefully this will be a decent guide so you can understand a bit more how the game works. And I do think, having played it almost all the way through, I do think it is worth the $3 at this point. However, a lot of content would need to be added for the price, it to be worth any sort of price increase. I didn't notice any major bugs. I know that the developer is planning on changing how the water works a bit, so some of those will change. Obviously, this might not even be what the final product is going to look like, but right now, I think $3 is a fair price. I can't see, like, if he doesn't change anything at all, it's not going to be worth $12, but it sounds like he's been working with the community, or they, I don't know if it's a team, to figure out what works, what doesn't work, any glitches, stuff like that. So, right now, I think it's worth buying. It's a lot of fun. Normal is actually really difficult, so you could do what I'm doing and, you know, swallow your pride and play it on the easy difficulty in order to just get a feel for the game, and then maybe replay it on a harder difficulty. Because I rage quit more times than I care to admit, and had to just started the game over because I was in such a bad spot. Okay, I have 5 crystals now. I should be able to build the next level harvester. Or the next auto builder, so that I can build the next harvester. That's what I mean. Okay. Cool. Alright. I need 2 more light gems and I can upgrade my harvester. I now have access to metal structures. These are essential. Without them, your buildings are going to fall apart. However, you don't want to build... Iron's kind of like necessary for everything, so you have to be careful what you spend it on. Once I get the next tier harvester, I'll build more guns and kind of build a fort, but this is actually a lot about resource management, because you do have a finite amount of resources. And as you build the next level of auto builder, the enemies become more difficult. So it's not a time thing as far as I can tell. It's actually as you get new technology, the enemies get more difficult. Like, you'll still encounter the easy enemies like bees, but the harder enemies will spawn. Okay, I can get the next tier of harvester, and I'm gonna go mine that iron that I saw. Something else I was doing before is I was having to craft a ton of lights to light up my mining expeditions. You can create something called a flashlight, and it creates an orb of light around you at all times. So you don't need to place a bunch of lights while you're mining. Obviously, it took me a while to figure that out. I didn't figure that out in any of the videos I previously recorded. That was something that I found out on my 6-7 hour gaming adventure, trying to figure out what on earth I was doing wrong. So hopefully I'll be able to craft that in a bit. I mostly want to get a bunch of iron right now and not die of drowning. Like I said, I'm going to try to move my way through this as quickly as possible, just because I already did 3 videos of this without really getting anywhere progress-wise, so I want to make that up to you guys by showing you as much of the progression as possible, and also kind of like trying to do a walkthrough sort of thing. Because, like, I could not find any sort of walkthrough. It's just because the game is so new. People haven't had the time to put together walkthroughs, really. Okay, you see, here's the flashlight. I completely missed it my first time playing through. I just didn't read the descriptions. I just need 3 more light crystals. In the meantime, I'm going to build another turret, because, like I said, enemies do get more difficult, and I don't want to die. I can also build cement, but I need rock, and I did not harvest rock. So as soon as I get a flashlight, I'm gonna go hardcore mining to get a bunch of resources so I can build up my fort and show you what the fort should look like. The shotgun is amazing, by the way. It mows down the first tier enemies really quickly and efficiently. And this is really fun. I had a lot of fun playing through it. Once I started figuring out what was going on, it was really frustrating before that, because it does kind of drop you in here without much guide except for the artificial intelligence. And like I said, he is more of a quest, he's like the quest giver. It's not as much of a tutorial as I thought it was. But once I started figuring stuff out, it became easier and easier every time I started. And I didn't actually complete the game. I got to the point where I just had to gather more resources to complete the game, and I figured because I got that far, I roughly knew what was going on, it'd be a good place to stop so that I could start again and talk you guys through what I learned. Darn, I just need one more light crystal. That's the thing, is that, like, when you first start out, light crystals are these, like, really rare, like, valuable commodities, and then you get to a point where you have so many turrets that they just kind of, like, mow down all the little fireflies, and you just have, like, a pile of these things. Okay. Got a flashlight. You don't need to equip it. It'll just work automatically, which is great. And now I can begin mining. As you see, I now have a little bubble of light around me, which is really nice. That means I don't have to waste resources building like torches or something. And I can just kind of mine as fast as I can fight off enemies and hold down the right click button. And that is how you mine. You actually hold down the right click button instead of left click. And that's because you don't actually have to equip the tool, you just have to have it in your inventory to use it. And any upgrades will automatically affect the harvester that you're holding. You don't have to change anything in order to access those. So that's really nice. You're not having to deal with like 20 different tools and weapons and all that. And even though they're different types of weapons, the next grade of weapons is almost always better. They do significantly more damage. You can't really play without them. Also, if you don't like the water dynamics, you're gonna hate mining, because you're just basically, water's gonna fall down the mine shafts and you're just gonna be swimming a lot. So just make sure you watch your air. And also make sure you don't get swept into a large cavern while you're mining. Like I said, I'm doing this because you can explore, you just have to make sure that you know you have good enough timing that you can get back to your fort before nightfall. I don't have good enough timing, which is why I'm doing the mine shaft, because I can just hop up, get back to my fort, and then as soon as night passes, I know exactly where I was, and I could just jump down. So it's what worked best for me, especially when you have to get aluminum, which is much deeper than the iron deposits. So that's really going to be how you want to do things. I don't think the game punishes you for exploring. I think that's just me wanting to play on the safe side because I died so many times. I didn't want to get caught out again. If you're better at not dying than I am, you're probably going to be able to explore the caves more, and you're just not going to have that issue. Whereas I was dying left and right and getting really frustrated. So this is the best path. And the only resource that's really... there's only two resources that are really hard to get besides the flowers. One of them is coal. It doesn't seem to spawn that often in the world. On the forum, on Steam, someone was asking the developer to make coal a more prevalent spawn, which I can understand. I didn't encounter it very much. It was always in a hard to get place. The other one is something on Sky Islands, but we don't have to worry about that right now. Okay, cool. So, see, I need coal and a blue flower. So, I'm not going to mess with that yet. What I'm going to do is build a fort. Okay. I don't really know if the backdrop does anything other than looking pretty, but that's good enough for me, personally. So, I put it up. Like I said, you need to be able to defend the fort on all four sides. So, I put an entrance on each side and lots of turrets above and below. It's pretty early, I shouldn't need to do that. Like right now, I should be okay with what I'm not gonna put doors yet. I'm not gonna put, like, water collects everywhere, so if you, if you don't have enough to build a roof, don't build walls because water will collect. And I didn't really... sure other people have figured out, like, how to build, like, really fancy forts. I just had this very basic outline. Okay. Remember these things, the iron, the metal structures. These are essential for building a solid structure. Just the way the physics system works. It's really hard for me to describe it. It's just like the stronger material can hold more, bear more weight. However, if you put too much weight on a block, it will break regardless. I mean, the stronger blocks will take longer to break, more weight, but it's still, it's a balancing act. There's not really a... I guess I don't know. I had a lot of trouble building really tall structures, so that's why I'm kind of like defaulting to what I have right now. Okay, so it's almost nighttime. I'm not gonna move. What I am gonna do is place that gun there. I don't have enough light crystals to build more. This is a pretty good internal structure for what I'll expand as it gets bigger, and as right now I don't really need defenses below because they haven't started burrowing down there, but you'll eventually get like a tunnel down there, and you'll want to put turrets because if they dig up under your fort, which happened to me before, the whole thing will collapse, and that's not fun. I think I died because of that and rage quit. So just be mindful of where enemies are approaching you. I haven't even built lights. I probably should do that. So you guys can see what's going on. I don't have enough light crystals right now though. But as you see, my flashlight works even during night, so it's insanely useful. I can't believe I missed it in my first 3 videos, but I found it. I'm telling you that it's really important. You will be very, very grateful that you built it, especially when you fall down a hole by accident and have to work your way back up. And if you're like me and you don't carry lights around with you normally and everything, it's a good thing. Okay. I can build another turret gun. I'm gonna do that. I know my defenses are beating the enemies handily right now, but it doesn't last as long as I'd like it to, so... Okay. See, like I said, it saves at the end of the night. Okay, cool. Let's go mine. See, this is why I like it. You just kind of hop down and then you're back where you were before. And the wooden platforms will stick to the side of blocks and to back wall like this. You can't, except for man-made back wall. So like the cement back wall that I was placing, the platforms won't stick to that. So keep that in mind when you're building structures. Like, it's one of the reasons like the platforms I only really use for mining and escaping and just general moving around. I'm gonna have to craft more. I had like a stack of 100 and it was really, really useful. So this is coal. Thankfully, because it is more rare, you don't need it in too much stuff, but it's still important for like upgrades. Like I said, when it rains, you end up swimming a lot more than you expected to. Mostly just be careful you're not gonna get swept away. It happened more times than I care to admit, so. Okay, cool. Thankfully, iron is pretty prevalent, as it should be, because it's the main building material. For tools and such. Okay. How are we doing on time? Oh wow, I am so sorry guys. Okay, well I'm gonna stop that there. We're at 30 minutes, so thanks so much for watching. I'll have a video up, next video up pretty soon, and we'll continue my, I guess, guide, walkthrough of Dig or Die. Thanks so much. Bye.